Hello, welcome back to another rating video of first appearances. Let's get right to it. X-Men 129, Emma Frost, White Queen, and Kitty Pryde. I like both of their intro. No doubt the story get a 5 out of 5. Okay, this is this is the start of the Great Dark Phoenix saga, so 5 out of 5 for the story. As far as the power, I'm always a big fan of the Vision with his, intangible power, be able to walk through things. So when I see Kitty Pryde with that similar power, I was pretty excited. I thought it was pretty cool. As far as Emma Frost, here's her first showing. No doubt she had a cool white outfit that fit the way the Hellfire Club dress. She is not as sexy as she has turned out later, but still that's a pretty good look. As far as Kitty Pryde, I like her power, but the name we don't know yet, and costume, I had to say that out of all of the X-Men over the many years, I have never liked any of her costume. For some reason, I just don't feel whatever they created for her over the years worked. Every time I see a costume, it's always look not right, too outright silly. So unfortunately, even perhaps the best costume that they gave her was that original series black with the yellow belt with the X in the middle. So yeah, that's as much as I dislike her costume for some reason. It just never worked for me. But as far as the two characters, I definitely give them the combined intro of the two. We get a 4 out of 5 for me, and then the story is a 5 out of 5. So altogether, you get 9 out of 10 for this book. I rate this book very high on first appearances. Next up, Deathlok. I have shown this book before when I was talking about Frank Miller and Klaus Janson, because Klaus Janson worked on this book, but I really like this intro. I think the story was good, and I like the look of the character. He's pretty cool. I definitely wish he was more robotic, but no complaint here. He looked pretty cool. I give his look a 4 out of 5. His power, everything, and his origin is pretty good. And then the story got a 4 out of 5 also. So altogether, he got an 8 out of 10 for me in this book. It's kind of funny that George Perez drew a little short story at the back of this book, the last 3 or 4 pages, and then he went on a few years later and create Cyborg for DC. So Cyborg have maybe a little influence from Deathlok, but like I said, pretty cool character. I'm not sure about the character that they made for the TV show. Not a big fan of that character on the show TV show. Next up, this is one book that I did buy off the rack. First appearances of Mr. Sinister. Cool name. Anyone that start out with the name Mr. Every time I hear Mr., I think of Sidney Poitier, Mr. Tibbs. 221, X-Men 221, Mr. Sinister. He looked cool, the name's cool, he have that crazy look. I have a love and hate relationship with Mark Silvestri, the artist. Sometimes I like his art, sometimes I don't. So here you go, wham, right on the splash page, you got this crazy looking guy with the shark teeth. He appeared very briefly. He appeared in like the first 4 pages, first 3-4 pages of this book. Okay, so it's a very brief appearances. He looked pretty cool with his purple and white gear, and then anyone that can beat up Sabretooth handily had to give me notice as far as like, wow, how powerful is this guy. But his brief appearances, you don't get to know much of his power or his personality, and so sadly, I cannot give him very high mark. I give him a 3 out of 5 because it's just not enough there to go by. And then as far as the story, personally, this period of the X-Men is more or less on the low side for me as far as when I was buying off the rack. I think I like this part of my run. I wouldn't say the least, but definitely not one of my favorite, because when you have Dazzler and Longshot as part of your team, not two of my favorite mutants, even though thankfully they have Havoc in there, so that balances out. So as far as the story, I give it a 3. I give Mr. Sinister also a 3 out of 5 for his appearances. So altogether a 6 out of 10, a pretty low score, but that has more to do with the story and his very brief appearances. No doubt he's one of those characters like Apocalypse that become much more interesting later. It's a slow build for him, which is not a bad thing. It just happened that his first show appearances was not all that exciting. Okay, let me put this one away. Last but not least, a 10 out of 10. I have to include a 10 out of 10 every time. Well, I try to. I don't think I succeed in doing a video that have a 10 out of 10 each time, but what is there to say about this beautiful book? Silver Surfer number 3, Mephisto. I have never shown this book before, so I'll give you a closer look later. Unbelievable cover, okay? Unbelievable. John Buscema, wow, what can you say? Mephisto, he's not a new, this is his first appearances, but as far as a concept of Mephisto, the devil, is nothing new, okay? It's like Dracula, Tomb of Dracula is not the first time Dracula ever made an appearance, so same thing with Mephisto. But even with that, the look, the story, I enjoy very much. It's a very fun story to read. One of the better Silver Surfer book. I think number 1 was my favorite, and number 3 is my second favorite. The issue with Thor is pretty cool, but this is my second favorite behind issue number 1, and they got a 10 out of 10. There's nothing not to like about Mephisto, and he's one of those few villains that once again I feel is very misused by Marvel. I never understand why Marvel used him in the manners that they did over the many decades. To me, here's a character with incredible power, incredible magic power, and yet from what I can remember, he barely, if ever, tangled with Doctor Strange. This is a character that I think would have done very well to be, used as one of Doctor Strange's major enemy beside Dormammu and Nightmare. So I don't know, maybe I'm way off base as far as thinking that he's a better fit as a key enemy for Doctor Strange instead of appearing in many Silver Surfer storyline. I have no problem with him appearing in these storyline because they are good, but part of me wish that they use him differently over the years instead of having him appear in many other superhero titles. Why not Doctor Strange? Anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, so here's a close-up look of the book. Gorgeous, perfectly centered, razor sharp. That, just beautiful. Unbelievable cover. Inside you have, of course, the great work by John Buscema and Joe Sinat. This is white, pristine white pages. It's absolutely beautiful artwork. Love the panel. And here you go. So here you have the very first time you see Mephisto, his hand. It's always hard to flip through a square bound book with one hand, but there you go. Just look at this stunning drawing. Beautiful. Just look at that. Like I said, the concept of the devil, the look is definitely not, or doesn't. It's hard to be original when you're drawing the devil, but still, I love the way Buscema drew Mephisto. Just look at that. It's a lot of fun to read the story. I highly recommend those that it's not that expensive to find a low grade book or read a copy. Mephisto is trying to lure the Silver Surfer with the use of his love, his long lost love. And the Silver Surfer, this issue was tormented, right, between choosing to make the right decision. Look at that. I just love the way, John Buscema draw the Silver Surfer. A lot of people prefer the Jack Kirby look, but for me, it's John Buscema all the way. For some reason, he's able to, put in a lot of feelings into the face. The facial expression of the Silver Surfer is great with John Buscema. Okay, let me flip through the end of this book real quick to the letter page. Something interesting. Took me a while to find it, but here you go. Look at this one. You would think that Marvel only print glowing reviews, right? Not so. Look at this one. Silver Surfer #1 was the worst Marvel published in recent years. First of all, the artwork was so bad. Just look at that. I can't disagree more with this letter, but like I said, somewhere out there, Jeff Rosenthal of Brooklyn, New York, really did not like John Buscema rendition of the Great Silver Surfer. I beg to differ. Anyhow, that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. Bye.